We're a few minutes early, so there's
Okay, don't
we will
worry.
take our time. I've got my candles lit to my side, but you can't see that, so I have to trust me. Um, uh,
No.
We trust you, Joseph. We've known you long enough.
So the live stream is on anyway.
so I'm just going to test that. So that's can everybody see everyone see that? Sidor?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I am going to do it from here. I think I know exactly what to do. No, I'll stop for now. But just wanted to say.
Right. We don't generally get a great number for these services, but what it's about is what we do for whoever does attend remotely, and it means so much, Joseph. So we're grateful that you're able to.
Yeah, I'm not about numbers. I'm about the quality of people here. Yeah, five of us is brilliant. Like if there's six, lovely.
There'll be
But you
more. There
know,
will be more. Come on, it's a different dynamic. I'm interested sort of to meet everybody. I know Linda and Joseph well, but welcome, Mike. I
Thank
don't
you.
know, seen you before, but what brings you here remotely?
I've been to these services with the Mosaic, Liberal and Reform throughout the past year. It's the first time I've seen you guys. So I get your newsletter every week. I just click on
Okay,
the link and I join.
fantastic. It's good. So, how did you hear about us?
I can't remember. I've just must have been Googling and looking for information and suddenly end up subscribed to your newsletter. So here you are.
Fantastic. It's quite good the remote ways. And also, Francis, I'm not going to go through your full name because that will take up quite a bit of our service. But lovely to see you. You seem to be kind of quite also sort of with it and sort of embracing this. So what brings you here, Francis?
Hi, thank you. Yeah, a little the same story as Mike. I Googled for an online service and has have been here for a few months online.
and where are you both are in the world right now?
I'm in the northeast. I'm on Teesside in a beautiful little coastal town called Saltburn by the Sea
Lovely.
on the coast of the North Atlantic.
And you, Francis?
I am in Oslo, Norway.
Ah,
Ah,
great.
That's good. Oh, God, this
Well,
is the beauty of it, isn't it, Joseph?
yeah, absolutely. It's great to meet new people and be connected to different locations. So I think me and Kevin are both in London. I'm guessing Linda is in Stevenage. Is that fair? And we have Brigitte, who is joining us, also from London, I think. So we'll just
Sorry about that. I'm just excited. Sorry, you have to come.
hi, Brigitte.
Welcome and Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome. Thanks for coming. So I shall say to people, I don't often take the Friday night services. I'm more Shabbat morning leader or musician, but I'm very happy. Have taken many Friday night services in my life, so very confident doing so. I think what I'm gonna. So I was saying before, I'm gonna share the Siddur on the screen. But from what I do people. Francis and Mike particularly, do you have a Siddur in front of you that you'd like me to, or will you be relying on the screen?
I
I
have
can
a
get one. Give me
Siddur in
one
the
second.
Oh, they've all got their own.
I can get it.
You don't have to. I'm just wanting to know. Because that's good. Because now I know that Mike's got a Reform Siddur. I will make sure to give the page numbers for the Reform. And it was just a question of that, really. So, Francis, there's no obligation, but I'm just I'll be broadly following the liberal one, but it does all tally with a reform and even
Right.
with somewhat more traditional ones as well. We should be able to get around it. I'm going to start with the song "You Did Nefesh," which I'll put up on the screen in a minute. But in the reform, it's page 109. 109.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing we should say, unfortunately, because of synchronization of sound, and this is for my benefit as well as everybody else's, if we joined in with the singing, it's going to be totally out of synchronization. So we can either mute ourselves or
Yeah. I'm afraid you'll have to just listen to me and sing along on mute. That's the way. I'm sure everyone knows Zoom by now, so I'm sure this is a common thing. So I'm going to share the Siddur, and we're starting with "You Did Nefesh," and this is the full version because I like doing it, and it's on page 648 in the Siddur, and it should be on the screen for you. Okay. Yedid nefesh av harachaman Meshoch avdecha el ratzonecha Yarutz avdecha kamo ayal Yishtachaveh Amul hadrecha Ye'av lo Yedidotecha Minofet suf V'chol ta'am Adonai Ziv ha'olam Nafshi cholat avateha Ana elna refana la Beharot la Noam zivecha Az titchazek ותתרפא והייתה לה שמחת עולם ותהיה אמונה ירדה רחמך והוא שנא הבן אהובך כי זה כמה נחשפתי לראות בתפארת עוזך אנא אלי חמדה ליבי ושנא ואל תתעלם יגאל עיני ידי ופרס חביבי עלי את סוכת שלומך תאיר ארץ מכבודך נגילה ונשמחה בך מה אהוב כי במועד וחננו כי מעולם ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי נאי ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי ינאי ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי נאי ינאי נאי 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 ינאי נאי ינאי ינאי נאי 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 So we now come to the point where we normally light the candles. My tradition is to light candles when Shabbat comes in, which was a couple of hours ago. But if anyone hasn't done so and they've got candles there and would like to do so, please speak up and you can light them for us and say the blessing. I think that was a no. So that's fine. That's fine. I'm just going to go on then. So we already have, I'll just read at the bottom of page 69 that you can see, happy is the people by whom the Sabbath is sanctified. Happy are those who rejoice in its blessings, for it comes with the message of God's abiding love as one who brings good tidings and publishes peace. From page 70 of the Liberal Siddur, and we're on page 111 of the Reform Siddur. L'chu narana l'Adonai, nariya l'tsu yishenu, nakadma panav b'toda, bizmirot nariya lo. Ki al gadol Adonai umelech gadol al kol ha'elohim, asher b'yado mecharei eretz, v'to'afot harim lo, asher lo hayam b'hu asahu, v'yeshabet yadav esaru, bo'u nishtachavu v'nikra, nivraha lifnei Adonai oseinu, ki hu Elohenu, v'anachnu am arito v'son yado, hayom im b'kolo tishma'u. And I could continue with Psalm 96, which is on the screen on page 71 in the Liberal Siddur, and it's on page 112 in the Reform Siddur. This is all part of the traditional Kabbalat Shabbat service, which traditionally has 7 psalms, 1 for each day of the week. So we kind of go through the week that's just been and reflect on what's been for us and what's been going on, and sort of as a kind of also as a warm up before we get into the Shabbat service, the Mariv service proper. Okay, so this is the Carlebach's melody for Shir Adonai, sing a new song to the Eternal One. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai baruch hu shemo, basru miyom leyom yeshuato, sapru v'goyim kavodo, b'chol ha'amim niflohotav, ki gadol Adonai. Hulal meod norahu al kol Elohim ay ki kol Elohe ha'amim elilim va'Adonai shamayim asa hod v'hada lefanav oz v'tiferet b'migdasho havul Adonai mishpachot amim, havul Adonai kavod va'oz, havul Adonai kavod shemo, ishtavu Adonai Bahadrat Kodesh, ay, chilu mipanav kol haaretz, imru v'gayim Adonai malak, atikon tevel ba'al timot, yadin amim b'meisharim, yismochu hashamayim b'tagal haaretz, iram hayam umlo, yalos sadai, v'chol asher bo, az yiramenu, kol atzei ay, lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel b'tzedek, ve'yamim ba'emunato, yanai, and we're going to now continue with Lachadodi, which is on your screen on page 73 in the Liberal Siddur and page 121 in the Reform Siddur. This is the song the Kabbalists of Safed in the 16th century wrote when they would go out in the fields. It's a very mystical song, so they really physicalized the Shabbat experience and made it connected with nature, going outside. So we sing L'chadodi. L'chadodi lekat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabala. L'chadodi lekat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabala. Shamu v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmianu, el hamyuchad Adonai echad, ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לחדודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלחקים, הכל הברכה מראש מקדם, נסוך סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לחדודי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי כי באורך, קומי אורי אורי אורי, שידברי כבוד אדוני, עלייך נגלה. לחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובשמחה תוך אמונה, עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לחדודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. So that takes us to the end of the Kabbalat Shabbat section, the sort of, if you like, the preceding section, the warm-up part of our service. And we're now going to turn to the actual Mari, the evening service for Friday evening, which is on the screen in front of you, page 92 in the Liberal Siddur. And in the Reform Siddur, it is not far away, it's 127. It's 127, okay? So I should have said at the start, if you want to rise at any traditional points, feel free to do so. I will do so here on the hope that I'll still be visible, but I should probably adjust my camera. Let's see if that works. Yes, it kind of does. It kind of does work. Okay, so I'm going to say that, sing the Baruch Hu, and please respond. Still on mute. So. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. So continuing. Would somebody like to read the next paragraph at the top of 93 in the Liberal Siddur, whether in English or in Hebrew? I don't mind who, and I don't mind which. It's the We Praise You, Eternal God.
I can read it in English if you wish.
Lovely. Thanks, Mike.
Right. We praise you, Eternal One, our God, Sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes times and seasons, and whose will sets the stars in their courses in the sky. You make day and night, rolling light away from darkness, and darkness from light. You make day pass and bring on the night, and separate day from night. You rule the hosts of heaven. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening fall.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. That was lovely. It's lovely to get a diversity of accents. We're all, a few of us are stuck with our southern or London accents, so I really like that.
I often get that. I forget that. Yes.
And I have a dream that we might rewrite some of the translations for our liturgy in different dialects. So not just the pronunciation, but the slang as well. I think it'd be wonderful. So that's a long-term project. Okay, so I'm going to sing Ahavat Olam, which is on the screen. It's 129 in the Reform Siddur, and as you can see, 93 in the Liberal. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, אותנו לימדת, על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוקבנו, ובקומנו נסיע בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם היינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, נוגע יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסור ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו Yisrael. So we come to the Shema, which is on page 94 in the Liberal Siddur, and page, you've probably got it, 130 in the Reform Siddur. It's traditional to cover your eyes, which I might do, but no obligation, as feels meaningfully to you. It's just an aid to concentration. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם emet. Someone like to read the next paragraph, the emet ve'emunah, which is in the middle of the page, again in either language.
I'm happy to read it.
Thank you, Brigitte.
All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone, eternal one, are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you in freedom. When we witnessed your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly we accepted your rule. Then, full of joy, we sang together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלי, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, God Yisrael. Hashkivenu is 136 in Reform and 96 in Liberal. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך, והושיענו למען שמך, והגן בעדנו, ועשה מעלינו אויב דבר וחרב רע ויגון, והרחק ממנו עוון ופשע. ובצדק כנפיך תסתירנו, כי אל שומרנו ומצילנו אתה, כי אל מלך חנון ורחום אתה. ושמות צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, הפרס סוכות שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תבל. We come to the Amidah, a standing prayer, which can be found in the Reform on 140 and on in Liberal in front of you, or page 97. They're slightly different texts in the two, but I'm sure you'll be able to follow it. Adonai Sefetai Tiftach Ufia Gitehilatecha. Adonai Sefetai Tiftach Ufia Gitehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chazadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, Zocheh Chazdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevil Gula Livnei Bneihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozeh U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים את הרב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומרית הגשם, מזריח השמש ומרית הטהר, מכלכל חיים וחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לך חיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין לנו אלוה מבלעדיך, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Would someone like to read in English at the foot of there, or foot of 98 in the Liberal? Please just jump in.
Okay, I will do this. We thank you, O God, for this Sabbath day, which calls us to closer communion with you. So you're near to us at all times. You reveal your presence most clearly when we direct our thoughts towards you in worship and meditation. In you, O God, our humanity is exalted. You are alive. From you come its greatness, its power, its beauty. Establish in us, we humbly pray, a devotion to you that shall be firm in all circumstances of life. May this service renew in our hearts the sense of your presence and bring us peace. Amen.
Thanks very much, Kevin. So we have gives us an either or here. I'll sing ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל לא תהיה לעולם ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. And then we are now on page 100 in the Liberal Siddur, and I will just swiftly find where that might be in the Reform Siddur.
Joseph,
Yes.
when you sang that, I thought it was Kiddush time.
Yes, I know.
I know, it's quite confusing.
I know. Well, don't worry. We'll get to Kiddush. I promise. It's so it's 145 in the Reform Siddur. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, רצי ומנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך, סבנו מטובך ושמחנו בשורתך, ותהל ליבנו לעובדך באמת, והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באחווה וברצון שבת קודשך, וינוח אהבה ישראל מקדשי שמך, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. And would someone like to read the next two paragraphs, either in English or in Hebrew? This is the Ritzei and the Modim, so it's at the foot of 145 in the Reform, or on the screen, or page 100 in Liberal.
I can do it.
Thanks, Linda.
ריצי אדוני אלוהינו בעמך ישראל, תפילתם באהבה תקבל, תהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל עמך. ברוך אתה אדוני, שאותך לבדך ביראה נעבוד. מודים אנחנו לך, שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו לעולם ועד. צור חיינו מגן ישנו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. נודה לך נספר תהילתך, על חיינו המסורים בידיך, ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך, ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלותיך וטובותיך שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך ולך נאה להודות.
Thanks so much, Linda. So we're now on Shalom Rav, which is on the screen, and in the Reform Siddur, it can be found on page 148. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon l'chol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon l'chol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל ואת כל העמים בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. Baruch atah Adonai oseh hashalom, oseh hashalom, oseh hashalom. And we'll just take a few moments for silent prayer. יהיו לך ברצון, עם רפי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי, וגואלי. So, don't worry, I'm not going to do some kind of fully fledged sermon thing. I wouldn't subject you to that on a Friday evening. But I will just say a couple of short thoughts about our Torah portion, which is Parashat Bo, which means come. And you might, it's slightly interesting that it's called that, because it's basically, it starts with God saying to Moses, Bo leparo, come to Pharaoh. So you might say, why does it say come and not go? Okay, so which would be lech, as in lech lecha, go to Pharaoh. And as I talked about a couple of weeks ago when I led the service, we read Parashat Shemot, that Moses is very much an Egyptian. He's brought up as an Egyptian prince in Pharaoh's palace. He knows Pharaoh's world intimately. So it's not really a question of him going to Pharaoh, it's a question of him coming to him, because he's an insider, and therefore he's capable of actually working within and challenging Pharaoh within. He's chosen the path of justice, he's chosen the path of identifying with the weakest in the oppressed society, but yet he is an insider, and he knows Pharaoh, and he knows, so God knows that. That's why it says that. So, and the other thing I wanted to talk about very briefly is, so the parasha goes through much of the 10 plagues narrative, which has started previously, and then the kind of eventually Pharaoh saying, okay, go, and people getting their stuff together, and then Pharaoh changing his mind. And in the midst of all this, it lays out the rituals which we associate with Pesach. The rituals of the lamb, the rituals of the matzah, and the kind of the festival. And then it goes back to the story, and the Exodus story that we know, and going in the dead of night and being chased. And I think what's interesting is that biblical scholars understand that there's different layers here. That there's the layer, they were separate things. So there was a Hag HaPasach, the Paschal festival, which was a spring festival probably, when they sacrificed a lamb and had a feast. And that was separate to Hag HaMatzot, the festival of the matzah. And one followed the other. The festival of the Passover was one day, and then the festival of the matzah was a week, unleavened bread. And then there's the third thing, is the story of the Exodus from Egypt, which wasn't necessarily associated with the other two. They were probably separate things. Okay, they were probably separate strata, which over time, and probably after the return to Israel from Babylonian captivity, writers around Ezra and Nehemiah probably knitted it all together and to create a coherent narrative. So that means that the editors have to do some really quite clever knitting to make things fit that weren't necessarily one thing. So we get the idea of matzah, that they had to do that quickly. That's the kind of invention. It's because of the leaving Egypt story. But the lamb doesn't seem to fit in. Like roasting a lamb doesn't seem to be super quick. It doesn't seem to be something you can do in 5 minutes. I'm a vegetarian, I wouldn't know, but I don't imagine it's super quick. So how does that work? And the answer is, of course, it wasn't part of it originally. It was something that did take longer. But there's a lovely verse we have in chapter 12, verse 11, which basically connects the two, and it finds a way of eating the lamb which connects to the story. It says, "This is how you shall eat it: your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it hurriedly. It is a Passover offering to the Lord." So this is very much a takeaway. This is very much pret-a-manger. This is very much on the go, but it makes that for religious purposes, right? Don't enjoy this in some traditional banquet way, remembering that it is to do with eating in haste. So we transform a ritual of a banquet, which I'm sure ancient Egypt had lots of Pharaoh, and takes it into a liberatory ritual, which reminds us of this going out, of this idea that we were once slaves and that we went out into freedom. So I think that's a nice example of how biblical criticism, or the study of the Bible, can maybe not undermine the Bible, but maybe lead us to a new appreciation of it, that how ingenious the editors were and how kind of thoughtful that process was in taking something quite prosaic and actually imbuing it with a religious meaning, that we can kind of think about how we can not just stuff our faces, but actually do so in a mindful way and aware of where our food comes from and what it might mean for us to eat it. So that's my little Torah thought. I hope that wasn't too much. I promised that wouldn't be a sermon. I don't think it was. Okay, so if anyone wants to jump in, feel free. Otherwise, we'll go on.
Can I just ask you
food for thought there?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, go on.
Can I ask you a question, Joseph? And
yes,
forgive my ignorance. I didn't realize that if a lamb or any other animal was offered in sacrifice, it would then be consumed.
My understanding is yes, it was.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure about in the temple. I'm a bit sketchy here, but yeah,
my understanding is that that's how the priests ate after they sacrificed a goat or a calf. They burned some of it, but they took most of it as their food.
Yeah,
as I've been told.
Right,
Yeah,
that's because it would have been tremendously wasteful if not, wouldn't it? In a kind of relatively poor society, yeah. So I think most cultures around the world with animal sacrifices, there is a way to eat at least some of it. Okay. Otherwise, yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's good to know. Thank you.
As a vegetarian, Joseph, I can imagine that's uncomfortable, but I think it defeats the object. I mean,
yes. Yeah.
There's a massive contradiction now. What's happening?
I think. Are you also vegetarian, Kevin?
No.
Oh, you're not. Okay.
No, but I'm looking from your perspective on it's a contradiction.
At my Pesach Seder, we've long had a beetroot instead of lamb, which is something that's mentioned in the Talmud, apparently. Wow. But like the idea being that it bleeds, it looks like blood. So I guess that we've always done that for pretty much all my life.
Joseph, that's a fantastic link. Actually. Yeah.
I didn't invent it, but I recommend it to you.
Yeah.
Pretty much all my life.
Thank you. That was very insightful what you said there. Really.
Well, I mean, it links a little bit to some of you. I'm teaching a history course to Mosaic at the moment, and I talked a little bit about how Bible was constructed last week, about the different layers. So I'm giving a plug and connecting. It's not a thing that rabbis talk about that much, even though for Reform and liberal Jews it's totally kosher. It's absolutely what we believe, that the Bible is written in different times and of different levels, but somehow it doesn't get discussed all the time. So we're gonna go towards the end of our service then, and the Aleinu. So I'm gonna reshare my screen, but you're probably wondering where it is in the Reform Siddur, Mike, and I reckon I can find it. I reckon I can do it. It's page 310 in the Reform Siddur. There's a very slightly different text, but not wildly so. But me. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגורלנו לחמליק מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומשב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשיבותה אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. Trusting in you, eternal God, we hope soon to behold the glory of your might, when false gods will vanish from our hearts and idolatry cease forever. Help us to perfect the world by bringing it under your unchallenged rule, when all will invoke your name, relinquish evil, and turn to you alone. May all who dwell on earth come to know that to you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you let them humble themselves, and to your glorious name let them give honor. Let all submit to your sovereign rule. May that time come soon and last forever. The ultimate sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity you will reign in glory. As it is written, the Eternal One shall reign forever. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Creator of the universe, you give us life in which joys and sorrows are commingled in accordance with your wisdom, and you send death with its promise of eternal peace. Teach us to accept humbly and courageously whatever burden is laid upon us. Comfort those who mourn, and let the light of faith illumine the darkness of their sorrow with the hope of immortality. Strengthen us at all times with an unfailing trust in your providence. And this week we're thinking about Dennis Heffetz, who died this week, member of Mosaic Reform, husband of Shirley, father of Deborah, and grandfather of Daniel and Ben. And we're also thinking of people who have yahrzeits at this time. Manny Silverton, father of Philip Silverton. Edith Collick, mother of Sandra Rose. Florence Collick, grandmother of Sandra Rose. Isidore Collick, grandfather of Sandra Rose. Ruth Lester, sister of Sandra Rose. Lily Lyons, mother of Helen Sinclair. Rosalind Snipper, wife of Andrew Snipper and mother of Russell Snipper. Harry Spiegel, father of Lorraine Boucher. Is there anyone else anyone would like to mention that they're thinking about this time? Okay, so we will say the Kaddish together in Reform Siddur. It's on page 316. On the Liberal Siddur, it's in front of you on page 524. If you want to unmute and it can be cacophonous, I don't mind. Up to you. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעולמה דברה חרתי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברא וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בני אדם, ואמרו amen. So I think what we'll do is I'm not sure what the tradition is, but if we do a concluding song now and then do Kiddush and Hamotzi, is that acceptable?
I'm just going to make one very quick announcement. Thank you, Joseph. It really has been good that you've been able to step in and add value to our Erev Shabbat Friday night, and also great that Francis and Mike remotely are with us, and Linda from Zoom, and Brigitte. Shabbat Shalom to everybody, and thank you, Joseph, and we hope to see Francis and Mike again. Probably remotely, you never know, but in person.
You are absolutely welcome anytime. It's lovely to have you both. I absolutely I second that. So I think I'm changing my plans. I'm gonna end with Shalom Aleichem, which is a lovely song, and it is here, so it's 76 in the Liberal Siddur, and I'm afraid I'm not quite sure where it is in the Reform Siddur. I don't think I can find it fast enough.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei hamalachim hakadosh baruch hu. Boachem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamalachim hakadosh baruch hu. Bachuni l'shalom, Malechecha shalom, Malachei elyon. Mi melech, Malachei hamalakim hakadosh baruch hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Malechecha shalom, Malachei elyon. Mi melech malachecha malachim hakadosh baruch hu. Now I'm going to turn to Kiddush, which is here. Let me just see. It's 564 in the Liberal. I'm just going to see if I can quickly find it in the Reform. I mean, finding pages in Siddurim is one of my special subjects, so I like to think I can do that. I think it's 451 or close to that. Yeah, 452. So I have a cup, a becher. If you've got a drink now, well, of whatever strength. Now's the time to get it out. Vaychelu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzava'am v'chol elokim b'yom hashvi'i malakto asher asa vayishbot b'yom hashvi'i mikol malakto asher asa v'yavak Elohim et yom hashvi'i yikadesh oto ki v'ashavat mikol malakto asher bara Elohim la'asot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagofen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishonu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'chata yotanu kidashta im kol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh ha'shabbat l'chaim. And if anyone has got a bread of any variety, grab it now, and maybe you can do the Hamotzi blessing. I do not have one. So, Francis, fantastic. Will you do the blessing?
Yeah,
Will you do blessing for us, please?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Amen.
Francis makes his own.
Well, that is putting us to shame. Impressive.
Ah, I'm really impressed. What's
So
your recipe, Francis?
Sorry?
What's your recipe?
What's my?
Recipe.
Oh, don't get me started.